What's up, guys? Zanderson 977 here today to do JoJo's Bizarre Adventure episode 13 review. Now, in this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, it's been, business as usual. The Jotarou's group was driving from India on their way towards trying to get to Palestine, I think. But they were driving on the road, and then there's this car behind him that appeared to be a 9 in the first place. At first, no one really suspected that it would be a stand use or be anything stand related. Just seems, they're driving on the road, right? And then all of a sudden, they out of a couple incidences where they got bad driven, and then surprising part, I should say, was when they were driving on the road, and it was the driver of the car was already driving slow, so Polnareff decided to overtake it. Right? When he overtook it, then the car behind him began to speed up and behaving like Polnareff and the group was slowing him down. So they said, okay, let it go around us first in the first place. It went around them, and what happened? Once it went around them, it began to drive slow and dusting them up again. So they said, okay, let us go around the car one final time, because it's really, this is not making any sense. So they went around the car, and as soon as they went around the car, they had this big massive truck come out from nowhere and it went out to be a head-on collision. And if it wasn't for Jotarou's Star Platinum, they definitely would have been done for in that situation. So it was that situation that they decided that, hey, it's suspicious how this car has been driving, like a bad driver so far. They haven't really, it's left a bad taste in their mouth. So they began to get suspicious that it might be a stand user. So when they had their suspicions and they came to this kind of rest spot of sorts, this kind of shop where this guy was squeezing out sugarcane juice from the sugarcane, and in the mirror of the reflection of a glass of the sugarcane juice that Jotarou was drinking, he saw the car's reflection. So he had suspicions that one of the guy already there, although they did look shady, I have to admit, because even when I was watching the episode, I was under the impression that maybe one of those guys were the stand user, but it turns out that it's not the case. So all of a sudden, after Jotaro and his group went you know, went there and then was suspicious of the guys who did really look suspicious, was suspicious of them, began questioning them, and then he's saying that let's just beat them up for good measure, because we don't want to make a mistake, so let's just beat them up and be done with it. They began beating them, and then all of a sudden they hear the car in the distance turn on and rev up, and they look behind them and see totally driver. So they're like, what the hell is going on? This guy's playing with us. So they went in, they jumped in, and decided to go straight after him. And in the next turn of events, it's revealed that that car all along was a stand user that was after them from the beginning. Now this stand user this stand user's power is called Wheel of Fortune, I think, and it's a very unique power. He's just like before, where the stand user was an orangutan and his stand was the entire ship that they were on, the stand of strength. This user who has the Wheel of Fortune card, it's his stand is the entire body of the car. So his car can transform, as we see it during this episode, and it began to shoot out these gasoline, like gasoline particles at very high speed. So they didn't necessarily see it, but because it shoot the gasoline at such high speed and it pierced their body and made them bloody, their bodies over time began to be soaked with gasoline. So the stand user, all he did was ignite a spark and set Jotaro's body on fire, or so he thought. Jotaro was smart enough he got on fire, but then immediately used Star Platinum to dig himself through the ground, came through the ground, came up back, and decided to use the bo 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 bo, you know, that volley of punches that he's known for, and decided to beat the crap out of this stand user and his car. So I believe they dealt with this stand user pretty easily. It was a pretty good face off, pretty good match. Jotarou really did most of the work in terms of defeating the stand user, and towards the end of the episode is where things get interesting. It's revealed that the old woman who looks like a fortune teller, it's revealed that she has, as I was saying last week, that they should be running out of enemies to send after Jotarou and his group. She says that they have run out of all 7 enemies that they've sent after Jotarou and his group. So instead of facing Lord Dio on her own and, getting Dio's wrath, she decides that, hey, she's going to go after them herself. So her name is Enyaba, something like that. So Enyaba will be attacking them with her justice card. But whatever stand that will be, or whatever users for that type of power, we'll see in the next episode. But it's revealed that she now is going to go after them, and it's hinted, it's hinted in a sense that she's the most powerful out of all the enemies that they faced so far. So it should be interesting, and I really look forward to it. But Jotaro and his group marches on, and oh yes, that little girl that was there from before that was tagging along with them, I don't remember her name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. That girl that was tagging along with them from the get-go, she's now back in their group, and now she's beginning to view Jotaro as cool. Like at one scene in the episode when Jotaro was making one of his cliche remarks, she was like, oh, that's so cool, I'm going to go crazy. So that was funny. It was pretty fun, and I like that very much. So it seems that both Jotaro and her, they are sort of warming up towards each other, in terms of at least a friendship way. So overall, I believe it was a good episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and so that's the commencement of my review. So that's it. That's my review. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Sayonara.